if you've been afraid to try using that double needle in your sewing machine, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to show you exactly how to use it, and you will see it is super easy and you can get some really cute results out of it. Now, why would you want to? Most people use the double needle to mimic a commercial hem. For example, this was done with a double needle, and you can see the double row, I hope. Now normally it's not two different colors. I did that so you could see the difference, and this is what it looks like on the back. The red thread is the bobbin. So this looks like the hem that you see on t-shirts or a lot of other commercial things. You can use, while that's done with a cover stitch. Now they don't do it this way. This is just a home technique to kind of mimic that effect. And the way you do it is on the edge of your garment you would zigzag, finish the edge. This just keeps it from raveling. Garments are going to be washed, and when you wash them, if there's not a finish to your edge, then it'll ravel. So you can zigzag the finish. Now if you want to make it look like a commercial garment, then you would fold that edge over and do the double needle stitch on this side, and it's going to look just like a commercial garment. And then on the back it's got the zigzag folded under. So that's what we're looking at. But also you can use it with your decorative stitches and get some really interesting results, like these two. I used a decorative stitch and two different colors of thread, and that looks kind of cool. So let me show you how to do this. First of all, will your machine use a double needle? Most likely yes. The standards are, they say you have to have a machine that has a zigzag. That's not technically true. That just covers a lot of the bases for what you need for a double needle. There's really two things you need on a machine to be able to use the double needle. And the first thing is your needle plate has to have an oval opening wide enough for the two needles to go through. You also need a needle that threads from front to back instead of side to side. So let's look at a machine that you could not use a double needle on. This is a Juki quilting machine. And if you look at the needle plate under here, and I took the foot off so you could see under it. If you look at the needle plate under there, you can see that it just has a little round hole. That hole is not wide enough for the double needle to go through, so you could not use it on this machine. Now the other thing is this machine threads from side to side instead of from front to back, so it misses both criteria. So let's look at another machine. Okay, so here we have the little New Home Genome mini machine. This is probably the smallest one that I have, and it does have the zigzag stitch, so you could go by that. If it will do a zigzag, the answer is yes. But you can check a straight stitch machine for these other two options. You might be able to use your straight stitch. Anyway, let's look at the needle plate underneath here. You see the area where the needle goes in. It's the little oval hole right here. So you do have enough width right there for your double needle to go through. So this little machine is a yes. You can use a twin needle with it. This little Brother 3817 also has the capability to do a zigzag, so it's a yes. But let's also check the needle plate under it. You can see this one also has an oval hole for the needle to go through. In fact, it's even wider than the other one, so you are very good to go on this machine. The needle also threads from front to back. I'm going to be demonstrating it on the Brother CS5055 simply because it had some really cute decorative stitches, and I wanted to show you that too. If you have a different machine and you're having trouble figuring out how to do it on your machine, just drop me a comment down below with the name of your machine, and I'll try to do up a separate video with your exact machine. But I'm going to try to cover all the different things problems you might have. Now, I am going to use this needle right here. So it's not this super wide one, but it's also not the two little ones. This needle fits any home machine. You can see maybe one side of it is flat, just like your regular needles, and the other sides are rounded. So it's going to fit up in your needle holder just like a regular needle. So let's go ahead and slip that up in there and tighten it down. Please make sure that your foot pedal is far away from you when you are fiddling under the needle. Mine is way over on the other side, so make sure it's nowhere that you could accidentally step on it or someone else could step on it. Okay, we have the needle inserted nicely. Now for the thread. In order to use a twin needle, you're going to need 3 threads. Your first one is your bobbin, and I have red in here, so it's good to go. It's just the same bobbin that you use for a regular thread. Then you're going to need your regular spool. Now this is the regular spool holder, so you can put it here, or if you are missing one of your spool holders, if you don't have a third one, you can use a spool holder like this. I'm going to use it for this demonstration because I wanted to use a color that is cross wound, not stacked. So I'm going to put it on this. Now, your other thread, there's a lot of different places it could go. I could put it here on my old spool. There are some extra spool holders that fit on your bobbin post. This machine, it actually just fits in this little hole right here, okay? So now, this is the first thread. This would be the one that's on this post. Our second thread will go here. I've read some places they say make sure that they come off the spool in opposite directions, and then some other things say make sure they come off in the same direction. It's really not going to make that much difference if you are getting tangles. If I had the spool up here, if my thread was constantly getting tangled right here, just turn it around so that it doesn't come off, so that it comes off the opposite way, like one from the front and one from the back. This one is coming off from the back. If I flipped it over, now it's coming off from the front. So either way. All right, this is my regular sewing thread, so it would be coming off of this post. If I were using that one, I'm going to thread it first. You thread your right needle first, so you're going to follow that thread path just like you normally would. Catch that, come around. We are threading it just like normal. Now, your automatic thread threader will not work on this. You're going to have to thread it by hand. And I have a frayed end, so let me clip that. You don't want a frayed end. It's too hard to thread. Thread the right needle first and then get it out of the way. Okay? Alright, now let's thread this one. You're going to follow the same thread path with this one. Even though there's already a thread there, that's okay. You're coming right along here, just like you did, except for now. You are not going to catch your last thread guide with your second thread. Wherever that thread guide is, the last one before you get to the needle, you do not go through it with this second thread. You just go straight from here into the needle. Put it out here so it doesn't get tangled, and then it goes under your foot. Now, you can use any foot you want to. You just have to be sure that when your needle's moving, it's not going to hit the sides of your presser foot. Alright, so we are loaded up, ready to go. Let's pick a stitch. I'm just going to go, for this one, let's just go with the straight stitch center needle position, which is stitch 1 on this machine. You can adjust your stitch length. I'll go ahead and make it a little bit wider so we can see. Let's put it on 5. And y'all, that's all there is to it. Now, don't drive like you're in the Indy 500. Put your fabric under here, and then let's give it a little bit of gas. There you go. We are twin needle stitching. And there you are. Obviously, choosing a different stitch length will make your stitches smaller or longer. You can use the same color thread for both of them, however you want to. So if you have a hem that's already been zigzagged, what you're going to do is iron it under. You have to measure it. I mean, you might need to measure it, but you need to make sure that you have a nice even hem folded over, just like this. Now, when you put this under the machine to mimic the cover stitch, your zigzag part is going to be on the bottom. So that's where it gets a little bit tricky. You're going to have to guide it so that the zigzag part is under the needle without looking at it. But it's really not that hard. Get it in position. Okay, so put it under your foot, and I can feel that here is where the zigzag part is, and I've got it centered under the 2 needles. Okay, now check to see where your edge is, because that's what you can line up for the rest of it. And then you are ready to give it a go. And that's just how easy it is. Now you have a finished hem that looks like a cover stitch hem. And you can see it did slightly tunnel. It actually looks worse on camera than it is in real life. You can stop that by putting some stabilizer under it if that bothers you. A lot of people like it because a lot of the garments we have today, there is a bit of tunneling. So that's what it's going to look like on the back, because you just did these 2 rows right there. Okay. Now let's look at a decorative stitch. I'll just use some more of this fabric. We just put this under here. Let's come over here and look at our stitches. You can try anything. Some of them that I tried, they did not turn out well at all. And some were just kind of so-so-ish. But what you're going to get is 2 rows of the same thing. You could even just do 2 rows of zigzags. Let's see. Let's do stitch 47. So I'm going to go up here and pick 4, 4, 7. Now let's adjust. Let's think about our stitch width and our stitch length. I'm going to go ahead for stitch length on this. I'm going to put that at about 4. Now the width that came with the stitch was a 7. So what you want to do before you fire off on this thing, operate your hand wheel by hand throughout one whole cycle to be sure that your needles don't hit either side of that foot. Okay, and there are other feet that are more open, and it looks like I am clear all the way. So I'm going to press the foot pedal, and we'll watch it go. Just like single needle sewing. And this is what we wound up with. That's pretty cool, huh? That would be cute on pillowcases, napkins, the hems of a skirt, just anything. Now that you see how easy it is, you won't be scared to stick that twin needle in there and just give it a try. You know, if you always test it by rolling your hand wheel by hand first, you're not going to break anything and you might find something wonderful. Okay, I'll see you back here at Mom's next time and we'll learn something else about a sewing machine.